Alright, so like I said earlier on, underground tunnel has been blocked. For that matter, we cannot walk through the underground tunnel, but then we can only see part of the tunnel, see how big the underground tunnel is. So this side is just one part of the tunnel. I just want you to see how big the tunnel is, and then from here we shall see where exactly the tunnel is. So please, you can have a look at it, but just be careful we don't have a staircase in here. So please be careful you don't fall.
Sudah pernah ngomong.
That tunnel's pretty deep. Jeez, way down there.
Alright, so please let's see where exactly the tunnel is. So it continues this way.
And it comes up higher, much higher. Let's see. They did a pretty good job blocking it up. I guess the slaves blocked it up.
Yeah.
They weren't doing no work.
Alright, so this side is the end of the underground tunnel. So the men would have to walk through the tunnel till they get to this very side. The women also held down this way. They also walk from that side, join the men in here, and then they use this entrance. So this side was the final exit point into the ships. But then sometimes the waves from the sea was sometimes very rough. So they had to block this side up and then create another exit point for the slaves. So after this side has been blocked up, and then they created the door of no return, where nobody went through that door and they came back into the castle again. So very soon we shall see the door of no return. We shall also walk through the door of no return. But for now, let us see a punishment cell outside. This is a cell, a female punishment cell. Those of the women who denied their governors with sex were placed in here for 14 days. A very huge metal gate covering the side. Food and water was given to them through the side, and then they also created a hole inside for them to defecate and urinate in. So please, you can have a look at it and then move on from there.
Prison, 40 minutes.
Okay, so let's see the female slave dungeon.
Female slave.
Alright, so this side is a female slave dungeon. This is where the women were also held. They also had two chambers. This side is the very first chamber. We have the second chamber outside, the door opposite us. Each chamber held 300 women in each chamber. They were also not allowed to go out. They defecated, urinated, vomited, had their menstruation in here. They sat and slept around their own mess. The three was up here. That was the only source of light and ventilation in the dungeon. Please do remember, in a male slave dungeon, I made mention of a drainage on the ground that carries away the liquid waste. But over in here, there is nothing like a drainage in here. The stench in here, it is something that I cannot describe. It can only be imagined. The conditions that existed in here was beyond description. Very bad conditions for the women. Whenever the governor wants to have sex with any of the ladies in here, the governor comes with a servant, they stand right in front of the door, the governor looks through and then points at any of them. The servant comes in and then pick her out. She'll be taken to another place where she'll be given good food to eat, put on nice attire, take nice bath. From there, she'll be handed over to the governor. After the governor has finished having sex with her, she'll be brought in here back again. But then as time goes on, if they realize she's pregnant, they would have to come for her, for doctors to examine and then take good care of her. 3 months after delivery, the governor takes the baby, the woman will be brought in here back again. But then if a lady in here and then you are not fortunate, on the way to the Americas, to the Caribbean, if the soldiers in the ships get to know that they have pregnant women on board the ship, all they have to do is to offload all pregnant women into the ocean for sharks to feed on them. Simply because if they should take pregnant women over there, their masters there will punish them. So to avoid punishment, they were forced to throw all pregnant women into the ocean. Any question, please? Please off your light. Please off it. Alright, please, let's. You see, there is something on the wall over here. What does it look like? There's something on the wall. What does it look like?
Yeah, it looks like an impression of somebody. Looks like some sort of impression or like somebody was standing there.
An image of a pregnant woman.
Wow.
Yes. This is the head, stomach this way, then continue down this way. It is natural. It has been here for more than 300 years. See, the place is too small to help 300 people in here. So for where each individual stood, that was it. So we believe that someone stood over here. So as it rains from time to time, the rainwater created this image on the wall. When you look this way, we have another image also this way. Any question, please? Let's see the door for no return. Alright, so this door was known as the door of no return. Why the door of no return? Because nobody went through this side and then came back into the castle again. The moment you walk through this door, that is the end. The slaves lost contact with their families, they lost their names, they lost their identity whilst they went through this door. But then the door wasn't big as you see now. It was very short and very narrow. So before one could even move through this door at that time, he or she needs to bow. So anytime you get the opportunity to visit the Elmina Castle, you will see the red door of no return, very, very short, very narrow. At the Elmina Castle, remember, not everyone who went through this door survived the journey to the Americas and the Caribbean. Alright, so please, let's move outside there, see what is there, and then later on return back into the castle. So this side is a fishing community. A fishing community for the local people in Cape Coast. So once the slaves will use the door of no return, the ships are already parked out here. But in this part of the beach, it is very shallow. The bigger ships were not able to land at the frontier. The bigger ships would always have to land at the far end there. They convey the slaves with smaller boats to the bigger ones, and then the journey continues from there. The slaves will still have to use the door of no return. Officials in the castle would have to use this staircase down into the ship. Let's have a look on top of the door. Alright. We have door of return now. The same door has been named as the door of return in 1998, 80 years ago, when Ghana celebrated Emancipation Day in Ghana. Two slaves, Samuel Carson and Madam Crystal, their bones were exhumed from New York and then Jamaica, representing the people of diaspora. They flown the bones down to Ghana. When you are traveling from Accra to Cape Coast, there is a village along the way called Abanze, where you can locate Fort Amsterdam. From Accra to Abanze, they traveled by road, and then from Abanze to this part of the castle, they decided not to travel by road again, but then they rather moved to the Atlantic Ocean. It is all because the ancestors were taken to the Americas and then the Caribbeans through the Atlantic Ocean. So when they are returning back home, then there is a need for them to also move to the Atlantic Ocean. So from Abanze to this part of the castle, they went to the Atlantic Ocean, and then when they got in here, they had to carry the two bones through the door, perform a very short but a very impressive ceremony at the courtyard of the castle. The meaning of that ceremony means a great homecoming. Let us not forget that Black Americans are not white people. They are not from America. They are all from Africa. But it is because of the injustice that occurred in here. That is how come they found themselves in the Americans and in the Caribbeans. So this door was named as the door of return to welcome them back home whenever they wish or they feel they want to come back home. They should do so, and we are ever ready to receive them as our brothers and sisters. So basically, we are welcoming all Africans who went through this door and never returned back to Africa again. We welcome them back home, hence the door of return. So later on, Samuel Carson, Madam Crystal, they were later buried at Asin Manson slave market, where the slaves took their last African bath. Any questions? Any questions?